friends. I'm Lola.
And I'm Sam. Welcome to Culinary Foundation, the show that helps you build delicious knowledge from the ground up.
Today, we're diving deep into something really, really fundamental to cooking. The 5 French mother sauces. Now, when you hear French and sauces, your mind might jump to something, intimidating or maybe overly complicated.
Yeah.
But I promise you, these aren't just fancy restaurant secrets. They are like the bedrock for literally hundreds of other sauces.
Oh, absolutely. In classic French cuisine, and really globally, too.
It's almost like learning the alphabet to write endless stories,
That's a perfect analogy, actually. Understanding these 5 isn't about just memorizing strict recipes.
Right.
It's more about grasping the basic principles behind them. It really unlocks this huge universe of culinary possibilities.
Gives you freedom.
Exactly. Freedom to experiment and innovate right in your own kitchen. It truly empowers you.
And our mission today is basically to pull back the curtain, demystify them a bit. We want to show you how surprisingly simple they can be to make, and just how incredibly versatile they are for any home cook.
Definitely.
So where do we begin this deep dive? Which mother sauce kicks us off?
Let's start with Béchamel. It's often seen as the easiest of the 5.
Okay.
It's that creamy white base you probably already know, even if you don't call it Béchamel.
Right.
At its heart, it's just milk, thickened up with a white roux.
Yeah, Béchamel feels like the ultimate comfort food foundation to me. And it has quite a history, doesn't it?
It does.
Named after Louis de Béchamel, steward to King Louis XIV. I just love how a simple sauce carries that kind of legacy.
It's pretty cool. And it makes sense because its preparation is really straightforward. That's why it's so approachable.
So how do we start? The roux?
You start with the roux, yeah. Equal parts butter and all-purpose flour by weight. That part's important.
Okay.
And the key is to cook this mixture just briefly, like maybe a minute. Just enough to gently toast the flour and cook off that raw, starchy taste. But you don't want it to get any color.
And the texture should be like wet sand.
Exactly like wet sand. Then comes the tricky bit for some folks. Adding the milk.
Ah, yes. The lump potential. I've learned using warm milk is a total game changer here.
Oh, definitely. It helps the sauce come together faster and, crucially, helps prevent those lumps.
Right.
Especially if you whisk like mad while you gradually add it in. You want to form a smooth paste first, then slowly whisk in the rest.
Constant whisking, that's the key. And flavoring.
Right.
What goes in?
Well, a pinch of salt is essential. Traditionally, you'd infuse it with maybe a small piece of onion, 1 bay leaf, a single clove.
A clove. Interesting.
Yeah, and often a pinch of nutmeg, too. That's pretty classic.
Okay.
Once everything's in, you absolutely have to bring it to a full boil. That's what fully activates the roux thickening power.
Gotcha. Boil first.
Then simmer it gently for, say, 10 to 15 minutes. That gets rid of any leftover raw flour taste.
And it should coat the back of a spoon, right? That's the test.
That's the classic test, yeah. Nice and smooth.
And for us home cooks, Béchamel is everywhere, even if we don't realize it, like mac and cheese.
Oh, yeah, that creamy sauce. Very often that's Béchamel doing the heavy lifting.
Or like the base for a lasagna cheese layer.
Exactly. It really is a starting point for so many familiar dishes.
Such a workhorse.
It really is. From that simple, smooth base, you can spin it into tons of other classics. Think of a rich creme sauce, maybe a tangy mustard sauce.
And what about the specific named ones, soubise, Mornay?
Yeah. Soubise sauce is Béchamel blended with beautifully cooked down, soft diced onions.
Sounds good.
And Mornay sauce is Béchamel, but enriched with cheese, usually Gruyere and Parmesan. Fantastic stuff.
Now, I've heard some modern chefs might skip the roux and just use reduced cream for a white sauce. Is that kind of the same thing?
Well, it aims for a similar creamy result, yes. But the roux in a traditional Béchamel gives a unique mouthfeel, a certain body and stability that reduced cream alone doesn't quite replicate. It's a modern shortcut, for sure, but the basic idea of a smooth, rich white base is still there.
Interesting how things evolve. Okay, so from Béchamel's creaminess, we move to another white sauce, Velouté, the velvety one. How's this different?
Velouté, yeah, the name says it all from the French for velvety. It gets that lovely texture and pale color from a white or blonde roux, just like Béchamel.
But
instead of milk, its liquid is a light stock. That's the key difference.
Stock instead of milk. And then the name changes based on the stock, right? Fish velouté, chicken velouté.
Exactly, veal velouté too. And when we say light stock or white stock, it means the bones used weren't roasted first.
So a more delicate flavor?
Precisely. More delicate, lighter taste. To make it, you melt butter and gently cook some mirepoix.
The classic trio. Celery, onion, carrot.
Usually, yeah, just to soften them up. Some recipes might get specific, just onion and carrot, or just say mirepoix.
Then the roux again, but blonde this time.
Right, you add flour to make a blonde roux. Cook it a bit longer than a white roux, just a few minutes until it's a shade darker. Gives it a slightly nuttier smell.
Okay.
And then, just like bechamel, you gradually whisk in your warm stock, chicken, fish, or veal, whisking away to keep it smooth.
Prevents lumps again. And flavorings for velouté.
Pretty simple. Maybe a few sprigs of thyme, a couple of parsley stems, a bay leaf, pinch of salt, standard aromatics.
In the cooking process, boil, then simmer.
Same deal. Bring it to a full boil to get that roux working, then simmer for 10-15 minutes to cook out the flour taste. Should coat the back of a spoon, just like bechamel.
You know, velouté itself might not be a name everyone knows.
Probably not, no.
But I bet it's hiding in plain sight in a lot of recipes, like as a base for cream soups.
You're absolutely right. It's often the kind of unsung hero in those dishes. And for home cooks, it's your secret weapon for a quick, cheap gravy.
Oh yeah, like a chicken gravy.
Totally. Especially if you brown some veggies first for extra flavor, hit it with some black pepper. Super easy, super tasty.
It really sounds like a blank canvas, doesn't it?
It absolutely is. Super versatile. Think about the classics that come from it. Sauce Allemande.
That's the one with the egg yolks and cream, the liaison.
Exactly. Thickened with that rich liaison. Or sauce supreme, that's velouté plus cream, lemon juice, sometimes mushrooms. You can even make sauce Vin Blanc, a classic white wine sauce, starting with velouté. The possibilities are huge.
So we've covered the roux-based white sauces. Now Hollandaise, this one feels different. It seems like it stands alone more often.
Hollandaise is definitely unique in the group. It's an emulsified sauce. Meaning it's a stable blend of two things that normally don't mix in this case. Butterfat and water from the egg yolks and reduction. Think hot mayonnaise.
Okay, hot mayonnaise. I get that. And you're right, you see it served as is way more often than, say, velouté.
Yeah, usually with lighter things like eggs, fish, vegetables.
My first attempt at Hollandaise was memorable. Felt like walking a tightrope. One wrong move and bam, split sauce.
Oh yeah, that tightrope feeling is real. Everyone's been there. The keys are really patience and very gentle heat.
So how does it start? There's a reduction involved, right?
Yep. You start by making a flavor reduction. White wine vinegar, some peppercorns, diced shallots. Cook that down until it's almost dry.
Concentrates the flavor?
Exactly. Then add just a splash, like a tablespoon of water, and strain it. That's your flavor base.
Okay, strain reduction. Then the egg yolks. This is the scary part.
This is where the magic and the potential disaster happens. You whisk a couple of egg yolks into that reduction, but crucially over very gentle steam, like a double boiler or a bowl over simmering water.
Bain-marie.
Right, a bain-marie. And you have to whisk constantly, a non-stop.
To stop them scrambling?
Precisely. You're gently cooking them, whipping air into them. They'll turn pale, get really thick, almost triple in volume.
Yeah.
That's the Sabayon stage.
Sabayon, got it. How thick?
Like it leaves ribbons when you list the whisk. Temperature-wise, around 165 Fahrenheit, 74 Celsius.
Okay, beautiful Sabayon achieved. Now the butter. I heard you shouldn't add salt yet.
Good tip. Yeah, hold the salt till the end. It can sometimes interfere with the thickening.
Yeah.
Now for the butter, unbelievably slowly, especially at first. Drizzle in melted butter, drop by drop initially. Traditionally, it's clarified butter, but honestly, whole butter works fine. Gives it a richer taste, maybe.
And the butter temp, not too hot?
Not scorching. Warm, definitely, maybe like warm bath water, around 145 Fahrenheit. Too hot, and it'll cook the eggs or break the sauce. And whisk, whisk, whisk the entire time.
Non-stop whisking builds the emulsion.
Builds that stable emulsion. If it gets too thick, you can thin it carefully with a tiny bit of warm water or lemon juice.
And the finish, what makes it taste like Hollandaise?
Fresh lemon juice is key. Or, for a twist called Maltaise, use fresh orange juice. Then finally, salt and just a tiny dash of cayenne pepper for a little background heat.
Okay. And the big warning label?
Cannot be reheated. It will break. If you're not using it right away, keep it warm in a thermos or over that bain-marie for maybe an hour or two, tops.
Right. Famous for eggs Benedict, obviously.
The classic.
But also amazing on asparagus, or with steak Oscar style. That's with crab meat, right?
Yeah, steak topped with crab, asparagus, and hollandaise. Super luxurious.
And its main child sauce, béarnaise.
Béarnaise is the big one. It's basically hollandaise, but infused with a reduction of tarragon, chervil, shallots, and usually vinegar. Amazing with steak or lamb. That herby kick is fantastic.
Okay, let's switch gears completely. Tomato sauce, Or sauce tomate in French. Feels like there are like 6 million versions of this one.
At least every Nana has her secret recipe, right? And what's interesting is the classic French versions were actually quite different from what we think of today.
Oh, really? How so?
They often included stock, sometimes even a brown roux, which sounds weird now, and things like salt pork or roasted bones for depth. Much heavier.
Wow. Okay, thankfully modern versions are simpler.
Much simpler, much more accessible.
So what's your go-to method for a really good foundational tomato sauce base? Salt early.
Definitely salt early. I like to start by sautéing a medium diced onion with a pinch of salt until it just starts to brown at the edges.
The salt helps draw out water.
Yeah, it draws out water, helps it caramelize those sugars.
Yeah.
Builds flavor right from the start. Then toss in some minced garlic. Cook just till it smells great, maybe a minute or two.
And then tomato paste. I keep hearing the stuff in a tube is better.
It often has a more concentrated flavor, and it's easier to just use a tablespoon or two.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of prefer it. Stir that in and cook it for a minute until it darkens slightly, browns a bit on the bottom of the pan.
Okay, blooming the paste. Then the tomatoes. Puree. Diced.
Either works.
Yeah.
A can of good quality puree or diced tomatoes. Add another pinch of salt with them.
And the simmer time. This is where opinions vary wildly, right? Quick sauce versus long simmer.
Huge variation here.
Yeah.
You need to bring it to a simmer for at least a few minutes. But honestly, for real depth, to cook off a raw acidity and let flavors meld.
Yeah.
Simmering gently for an hour and a half, 2 hours, even longer.
Yeah.
That's where the magic happens. All that moisture escapes, the flavor concentrates. It makes a massive difference.
Okay, long simmer for deep flavor. And
Yeah.
smooth or chunky.
Totally up to you. Blend it smooth or leave it rustic and chunky. Both are great.
The beauty of a good tomato base is just how practical it is. Make a big batch, freeze it.
Exactly. It's like having a superpower in your freezer for quick meals.
Totally. It becomes pasta sauce or pizza sauce just by adding basil, oregano.
Right. Or add some fennel, thyme, maybe fish stock, and boom, you're on your way to a cappuccino.
Or get bold. Olives, capers, anchovies, chili flakes, hello puttanesca.
Or it's the base for bolognese if you add ground meat and mirepoix. Make it spicy for arrabbiata. Add herbs for marinara. Swirl in cream and vodka.
So many directions.
Endless.
Yeah.
And quick tip, if your sauce tastes a bit too sharp or acidic,
Yeah.
you can balance it. Add something sweet like super finely diced carrots cooked soft, or even a tiny pinch of sugar, or just swirl in a knob of butter at the end. Fat mellows acidity beautifully.
Great tips. Okay, last but definitely not least, Espagnole. Brown sauce. This one sounds formidable.
It is the most involved, often called the heaviest of the mother sauces. It's the foundation for basically all classic brown sauces.
And the name Espagnole Spanish is weird, right? Because it's French.
Total misnomer. No real connection to Spanish cooking. It's pure French, developed way back by chefs like Carême and Escoffier. And yeah, it's a bit of a project.
A labor of love, you said earlier. What makes it such a big undertaking? Does it start with bacon? I feel like good things start with bacon.
Yeah, they often can, yeah. Rendered bacon fat is a great start, or just olive oil. Then you saute your mirepoix onion, celery, carrot in that fat. But this time you want deep caramelization. Really brown them.
Okay, deep brown mirepoix. Then tomato paste again.
Yep, add tomato paste. Cook it till it browns a bit, just like with the tomato sauce, building those deep, savory layers.
Then the liquid, brown stock.
Rich brown stock, yeah. Usually beef or veal, plus your aromatics, thyme, parsley, bay leaf, peppercorns, salt.
And the thickener is a brown roux, right? I imagine making that without burning it is tricky.
It takes patience. You cook butter and flour slowly until it turns a deep, rich mahogany brown. It smells really nutty. You make this separately, let it cool slightly.
Why cool it?
So it doesn't cause a violent splatter or seize up when you whisk it into the hot stock mixture.
Ah, okay. Whisk in the cooled brown roux. Then simmer time.
Oh yeah, long simmer time. Bring it to a boil, then drop it to the lowest possible heat. Minimum 10-15 minutes, but ideally,
Yeah.
you're looking at 3 to 4 hours.
Hours. Wow.
Yep, that long, slow cook is essential to fully cook out the roux's raw taste and let the vegetables release all their sweetness and flavor into the sauce.
And constant stirring so it doesn't scorch on the bottom.
Got to keep it moving, yeah. Especially with that long cook time.
Oh.
Then, finally, you strain it, really pressing on the solids to get every last drop of flavor out.
It sounds intense, but worth it.
The depth of flavor is incredible. You don't usually use Espagnole on its own.
Right, it's a base.
Exactly. It's the starting point for pretty much every classic brown sauce. It has the biggest family tree of all the mother sauces.
What's the most famous derivative? Demi-glace.
Demi-glace is the icon. Traditionally, it's 50% Espagnole, 50% brown stock, then reduced by half again.
Even more reduction. Good grief.
Yeah, it's incredibly concentrated. So much work that realistically, most kitchens today, even pro ones, use high-quality commercial demi-glace bases. It's just not practical for most.
Makes sense. What other sauces come from Espagnole?
Oh, lots. Sauce Chiron, that's brown sauce with tomato, often served with steak. Bordelaise sauce, think shallots, red wine, maybe bone marrow. Marchand de Vin sauce, literally wine merchant sauce. So brown sauce plus red wine. It's the rich, savory foundation.
And you mentioned freezing it. How long does this stuff last?
Properly made and frozen, practically forever. Maybe not forever, but easily months, maybe longer. It's an amazing thing to have on hand. It just brings your cooking up to a completely different level. That deep, complex flavor, hard to replicate quickly.
Wow. So there you have it, the magnificent 5 French mother sauces.
That's the lineup. Quick recap, we dove into Béchamel, that creamy white foundation. Velouté, the velvety stock sauce. Hollandaise, the rich, buttery, emulsified classic.
The hot mayo.
The hot mayo. Then tomato sauce, the endlessly versatile red. And finally, Espagnole, the deep, dark, rich backbone of all brown sauces.
What's so cool is that getting a handle on these 5 isn't just about memorizing 5 recipes.
Not at all.
It's about understanding how they work. Thickening with roux, emulsifying fats and liquids, building flavor slowly.
Exactly. Once you get those core ideas, it unlocks so much potential. It really does elevate your home cooking. It just takes a bit of practice, pasting, tweaking.
Getting a feel for it.
Yeah. And here's a practical tip. Make a big batch of white or blonde roux sometime. Cool it and freeze it in small portions, like ice cubes.
Ooh, roux cubes. I like that.
Yeah. Or freeze batches of the finished Béchamel, Velouté, tomato, or Espagnole. Makes whipping up a fancy-ish sauce on a Tuesday night totally doable.
That's brilliant. And, understanding these building blocks, it changes how you see food, doesn't it?
Totally.
You start to understand the why behind what chefs do in restaurants. You see a sauce description on a menu, and you actually kind of know what's going on.
It makes you a more informed diner and definitely a more confident cook. Your kitchen really does become this place for delicious discovery. You won't look at sauce the same way again.
Okay, final thoughts.
At Culinary Foundation, every dish begins with curiosity and ends with connection.
Cook boldly, share freely, love deeply.
See you next time.